Well, hello, good afternoon. You are on Sports Today for a very, very special show. We're just hours away from this riveting cracker of a game between Chennai Super Kings and Rishabh Pant, an Indian legend against the superstar of the current times and someone who has a bright, bright future for Indian cricket. But before we get into the discussion, we have a very special guest joining us this afternoon. Before we get into the discussion, here's a quick look at why you should download the Fan Fight app and start picking your teams.
It's match day. Play fantasy cricket now. Get up to 2.5 crores daily and lots more. 20 times more. Win big on Fan Fight. This game involves an element of financial risk and may be addictive. Please play responsibly and at your own risk.
Right. That's the reason why you should download the Fan Fight app and start making your teams and playing fantasy cricket. Well, then, we have with us someone very special, like I said, Mustafa Ghouse, team director of the Delhi Capitals, and of course, Boria Mojumdar, our very own. Mustafa, this is, if I can come straight to you, this is exciting again, given the time that we are in, the pandemic. Of course, these are gloomy times in terms of health, and this pandemic is just back in its second wave. But the IPL brings a lot of smile and cheer to people's faces. We saw that opening game between MI and RCB last night, Delhi Capitals tonight. So you'd be excited in that sense that you have a new captain, Rishabh. But of course, unfortunately, Shreyas missing out on this season. That couldn't have been easy on the team to miss somebody like Shreyas like his caliber. But something to look forward to from Rishabh Pant, who's been phenomenal these last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, it's been a challenging few weeks, I would say. There was a lot of effort and planning that had to go into getting the team ready for this season. With the spiky cases, especially in Mumbai, it was all the more important that we kept things very much under control, and there was extra discipline when it comes to all departments. And while we did have the unfortunate issue with Akshar Patel, we're happy that the rest of the squad is all fine, and we'll have Akshar back in the squad also very shortly. So yeah, looking forward to the start of the season. Looking forward to our first game tonight. Like you rightly said, big loss for us with Shreyas's injury and the fact that he's going to miss the entire season. But similarly, gives an opportunity to a young Rishabh Pant to step up and show what caliber he has as a captain, and adding on to his responsibilities as one of our most important batsmen, as well as the wicketkeeper in the team.
Right, and also
Rajesh,
before
can
I
I
go
can
to
I can I ask you?
sure,
Can I ask,
yeah,
because you
sure,
just
please.
mentioned Aksar Mustafa. That is actually a news point. So is he better? So you just said you will have him back soon. So give us an update on Aksar Patel. A lot of people watching, and we will obviously put it out as part of our India Today sports stories as well. Give us an update on Aksar Patel, and have you had a chance to speak to Shreyash or find out from him? Because I had a brief WhatsApp exchange with him yesterday again, where he was positive. So give us an update on Shreyash. Give us an update on Aksar.
Yeah, Aksar is better. Aksar is better. He's today would be day 10 of his quarantine process. So hopefully 3-4 more days, a couple of negative tests, and he will be ready to join the team thereafter.
Excellent.
They're running a bunch of tests on him over these next few days to know how quickly we can get him back on available for selection. So that's the status with Akshar. Yeah, with Shreyas, I mean, he's fine. He feels a lot better because he's got sensation back in his hand, which was the most important factor. He got that pretty quickly after the surgery. And yeah, he's obviously gutted that he's not part of the team, but he's in constant touch with the boys and with Ricky. So yeah, I mean, I think all we have to do is now make sure that he's on the path of recovery and rehab, and getting back into playing, to the level that he's been before.
Two very important updates and
Yes.
so good to hear. Aksar better, Shreyas better. Maybe once you guys make the playoffs, get him to the ground, make him sit with you all. The team will benefit, and obviously get him onto Sports Today and make us to speak to him.
Sure, sure, we'll do that. Mm.
No, absolutely, and these are major news points that Mustafa has given us. But before I go to Goria, just another point because we are on Aksar Patel. What happened to him was very unfortunate. But again, we've seen that this is not in anybody's control, and the BCCI and IPL they've been very vigilant around the bio bubbles. But could you also take us through, Mustafa, through the strictures of the bio bubble and the quarantining process that you have? Because we've had a lot of questions that both Boria and I have taken on Sports Today. Boria has done a special on how strict the bio bubble protocols have been in the course of the Indian Premier League already. Could you take us through that? And also, what are the challenges of playing in these conditions in back-to-back season? If you could just fill in our viewers on
No,
that.
I mean the protocols have been as strict as they were when we were playing in the UAE. We do 7 days of isolation before anyone joins the squad. And once you're in the bubble, you're not permitted to interact with anyone outside the bubble. And that is extremely stringent criteria, and no one is allowed to tinker with that. We have dedicated wings in the hotels that we are staying at, so that there is no scope to get in touch with anyone that is not part of the bubble or any other hotel guests, etc. Entrance, exits, everything is dedicated for the team, and similarly, when we're at the stadium and at the practice venues as well. So the point is that I think once you're in, you are in, and there is no contact with anyone outside, and that's something that we all have to maintain and manage. The cases that we've all heard of or seen, whether it was Aksar or Devdutt Padikkal before joining the RCB squad, or Daniel Sams again at RCB, it was more to do with, I think, through transit or prior to joining the bubble, that these tests kind of showed up positive. So I think it is how it is. I mean, it's, how rampant it is all over the country and the world for that matter. So hopefully once everyone is in the bubble and done their isolation days, we hope not to see any more such incidents.
If
Right.
I can follow up on that one,
Right.
Rajoshi, with Mustafa.
Sure.
Mustafa, Satish Menon from Punjab Kings, the CEO, was on our show. And he said, he again broke it down in terms of the protocols. And he said, all of these protocols are in place and we feel comfortable that we will be able to pull it through. Yes, there is apprehension, but we should be able to pull it through. Is it the same with you all? Are you happy with what is in place? Are you feeling silently and cautiously optimistic that you can pull off this tournament?
Yeah, of course. I think we had the same similar scenario in the UAE, right? When we had the CSK incident prior to arriving into Dubai. So I think I would say this is somewhat similar. But yes, I would agree with Satish. I think most teams, once the bubble is in place and the protocol are being followed, most teams are confident that they'll be able to manage. The only differential factor here in this season as opposed to the last one is that we do have travel days where we're moving from city to city. So again, that's something that will be new for us to maintain the bubble and make sure that everyone is safe all through travel days. And if we can manage that, then apart from that, I think everything else is something that we're in control of.
Will it be
Right.
tarmac to tarmac? Any update on that? Will it be tarmac to
We
tarmac?
are still working on it. We're still 8 days away from our first travel. So yeah, I think we'll get the guidelines from the BCCI shortly.
Right, but Boria, Mustafa made a couple of very important points there when he's talking about the COVID bio bubbles. One is that the fact that some players who tested positive that could have happened in city to city transit, and once they're in that bubble, there's very strict protocols. Like you yourself broke details on that. Mustafa talking to us now, and Satish Menon of of Punjab Kings mentioned a similar bio bubble guidelines as well. But you tell me, Boria, give us a sense of that because you've been in touch with a lot of the cricketers, a lot of the team management, a lot of the team owners, and top executives. How difficult is it for players now? Because it's easy. It's one thing to say that they're psychologically better prepared now, but it is still a challenge, right? Because you're playing back-to-back tournaments, starting from the IPL for the India cricketers, then two high-profile international tour series. How are the players managing, and is it going to be a challenge going ahead into the IPL, and do you see the performances getting affected that way?
No, performances will not get affected. In fact, I think it'll get better. In fact, I want to take that to Mustafa as well. My understanding is before the tournament, when you are in quarantine, it's the hardest. But once the tournament starts, and this is a family, I mean, Delhi Capitals, for example, takes care of each of its guys tremendously well, be it Parth Jindal, be it Mustafa Ghouse, be it their entire management. And I know these guys. I mean, I know them, how hands on they are, how good they are as a franchise. The same with MI, the same with most of these teams. So once the quarantine is over, then the players are allowed to mix within their own team and with the management to a degree. People, whoever is in the bubble, that makes life much easier, Rajoshi. Then it's game to game. The real difficult period is the approach period, is the quarantine period. So once the tournament has begun, I think it's one heck of a ride. It is difficult. It is difficult long term, but that's how it is. But you know what? I think this is a 1 year phenomenon because if you take a look at the Spanish flu, if you take a look at COVID, if you take a look at how the globe is now coping up, you have multiple vaccines which will now come over the next 4 5 months. You have some. So this is a game which will continue in 21, but over a period of time in 21, you will gain control over COVID. That's how one can assume this will be. So you've got to, as professional athletes, overcome that. Mustafa, is it right to say that once the tournament is on, things do get better with the players also, and they deal with it mentally much better?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 7 days of hard quarantine is the tough one, which everyone is kind of just can't wait to get behind them because you can't train. You can do a little bit of fitness work in your room, and we tend to provide them with whatever we can. But you're still in your room and you're still by yourself. So those are the tough days. But thereafter, like Oria rightly mentioned, once you're out and about and with your boys and with your coaching staff, um, it's a lot better. And I think everyone is kind of gotten used to that for now. And of course, once games start, then it's just you're too busy. You barely get 2 days between each game. Recovery day, net session again, and you're back into the next game. So once that happens, it's a lot better. I also feel that we as a franchise at least are slightly, I mean, we're looking at it a lot better and more positively right now because one is to have a little bit of change of scenery when you're going from city to city. So you're going to spend for us 20-25 days in Mumbai, and then we head to Chennai for a week and a bit, and then to Ahmedabad, and then on to Cal. So there is a bit of a change in scenery, so you have some time to kind of realign your bearings, new surroundings. So there's some freshness to the whole thing, and also unlike in the UAE season where no one had any cricket coming into it, and we had a much longer preseason camp. This time around, it was fairly short and sharp for us. We didn't want to get the boys in too early. And also the boys had all come in from extensive amount of cricket. Most of them have been playing fair amount of cricket, either internationally or domestically, coming into this IPL. So when we were discussing with Ricky and the entire coaching staff, everyone was of the opinion that let's not have a very long uh, pre-tournament camp. Let's keep it short, keep it sharp. Let's keep everyone fresh, and I think that's something that we feel is going to be a big positive for us this year.
Excellent.
Right, right.
So,
But
so
also,
team.
yeah, yeah,
So
boss.
Rajarshi, Delhi is also your team. You keep supporting Delhi Capitals. You're very proud of them. So last year also you kept saying I want Delhi to win, not because you're a Delhiite, but also other reasons. So Mustafa, give us a
Yes.
sense. How is the team looking? And I ask this question from two standpoints. One, we don't have access to the practice or the warm-up games. Who are the guys who one need to watch out for? For example, a Rajat Patidar, a Harshal Patel for an RCB. Who are your guys? I mean, give us a sense how the players are shaping. So, for example, Mishi, how is he shaping up? How is Ishant and Umesh shaping up? So, give me a sense of the team.
No, I think everyone is in very high spirits. He is fine. He's back. He's recovered from his surgery, and he had extensive amount of time in the nets. Even prior to the team arriving, he's been in Mumbai for the longest time. To be honest, working with our strength and conditioning coach and working with Praveen Amre, who is back in our coaching setup. So and the net. So he's been here. all the boys are excited and gunning to go. Obviously, the South African boys arrived in late, so they won't be available for selection for today. They get out of their 7 days only post this game. But apart from that, everyone is geared up and excited. We're looking forward to seeing the work that's been put in over the last couple of weeks, as well as what they've done when they've been away. So, I mean, from our perspective, we're excited. We're excited to see a Prithvi Shaw carry on his Vijay Hazare form into the IPL. He's a big impact player for us, and something that we missed last year. Keen to see Steve Smith fit into the lineup, and the type of influence he will have on the squad. Uh, and obviously, for us, the biggest X factor is Rishabh Pant. What we missed him last year. He was not on top of things, and but what we've seen him do over the last 6-8 months for the Indian team, if he can do half as much as that for DC, I think we're going to be in a good position.
No,
Super.
Rishabh Pant. You could expect fireworks from Rishabh Pant. You know, as journalists, we want to see such characters prosper. But tell me a couple of questions to Mustafa. What is it about Delhi Capitals? And Boria mentioned why I like Delhi Capitals so much is because of the color and the character that this team brings to the fore. We saw what happened from how, and I think this is the most improved team in the IPL. Boria will bear with me on that. Probably in the last 2 3 years, and especially the performances last year and you look at this season is one. How is it that in a team of such superstars, you have some senior cricketers around that setup as well? Young captain prospers, and he's given so much leeway to prosper and do his own things. With Rishabh Pant, what is it that you're expecting him to do? Do you want him to go and express himself? Because you already saw in the net sessions, he's already sledging his own overseas cricketers. Of course, there was friendly banter. And B, what is the mood in the camp like? You've discussed the protocols, the COVID protocols, what you've done as a camp, as a team management. But what is the mood around the team like when they lose their regular captain, but you have a stalwart like Ricky Ponting at the helm of affairs, and you have a young, exuberant cricketer like Rishabh Pant?
No, obviously, I mean, first of all, no one wants to see anyone get injured and go to surgery. So everyone was very upset and sad when we saw Shreyas fall in that game in Ahmedabad. So obviously, the first instance is to make sure that he's okay and to check in and be there for him. Thereafter, I think now it's time to move on. Be focused on the tournament and the first game tonight. When it comes to the mood within the squad, yeah, everyone is buzzing. Everyone is geared up. They love being part of the IPL. They love everything that goes with it, and it's high quality cricket, like we saw from game one last night. So looking forward, I think everyone, including all of us, are excited to get things going now.
So
Right.
Mustafa, you also have done something from the now to take you to your domain. The IPL is a degree recession proof. Give me a sense. Is the brand growing as well? Because I read an article which said 50% more sponsors. Is that correct in saying? Number one. Number two, you as a company have also launched, other kind of programs in mentoring sports startups, etc. Is it an expansion of the JSW Sport ambit that you're trying to do that? Will it be tying up with Delhi Capitals? Give me a sense of the economics at this point in time.
No, I mean, yes, we've had actually our best year when it comes to sponsorship numbers. And what you read and what you've quoted is very accurate. So, in that sense, very happy with the way things are progressing. I think it's a combination of the brand of cricket we are playing over the last few seasons, the type of players we've been able to rope in, and the type of work we've been doing behind the scenes, and with the marketing campaigns, our digital campaign that is starting to bear fruit for us. We still have to work hard to catch up to the likes of an MI or CSK, who are torchbearers when it comes to the IPL on pretty much all factors. But I think the biggest tipping point will be when if we have to come get there is to start winning the tournament. They have won 4 and 5 trophies over 14 years. So there is a reason why they are where they are. And if we have to start, seriously considering ourselves in that bracket, we have to start winning. We've been the most improved team, I would say, finishing third 2 years ago and then second last year. But we have to be consistent at it. And if we can do that, then I think we'll see even bigger jumps
Okay, I know
when it
you got to
comes to
go.
DC.
So Rajoshi, you fire one, I fire one because he's got to sort of make way. So you take one, I'll close it out.
Yes, Boria. Mustafa, we also want to figure out the fact that, Boria just mentioned the fact that Delhi Capitals have improved on two fronts. One on the cricketing perspective, also one on the business perspective. Also, what you've signed like 25, 30 sponsors. You've had such a great year financially. But, will that get even better? Because the other challenge, do you feel, is the fact that Delhi Capitals have not been able to play in Delhi for two editions now. You played in the UAE last year. And now, again, you don't get to play at your 10, like a lot of other teams. But this is a big miss, right? In the middle of this emphatic growth for Delhi Capitals as a venture.
Actually, to be honest, actually, we felt that a little bit when the tournament moved to the UAE. But the way the reception was and the way that the TV numbers were or the viewership numbers were, all in all, I don't think anyone really cared about it thereafter. The minute IPL got over in November last year, there were calls on how we can start renewal conversations, how do we talk about new deals, etc. And we at that stage we didn't know anything of where the tournament was going to be, what the format was going to be, or anything. But brands have realized, and like Boria mentioned, it's kind of now insulated from most of these external factors that it's people are ready to put money behind the IPL without knowing where it's going to be played or what the format is going to be like. As long as the push is there from the team's perspective, the platform is there from a channel perspective. I think most brands are ready to back you.
Right.
Mustafa, finally, I have just a personal question. One on Ajinkya Rahane, one of my favorites, our favorites, and with Shreyash not there, should open up an opportunity for him. And with Praveen there, he should be more comfortable. So just a word on Aju.
No, I mean Arju is a great guy. He's a legend of Indian cricket. I think he's someone that all the boys look up to. Yes, with Shreyas not available, he will have a bigger role to play. How he fits into the team dynamics and the balance is something that we'll all. I mean, we leave it to the coaching staff and the captain to finally decide. But yes, for sure. I mean, I think he's going to be an asset. He's an asset for every team. He will be an asset for us this season as well.
Thank you. Rajoshi,
Right there.
anything else you
Right
want?
there.
Or, yeah.
No, I know. You said Mustafa has to go, but he's given us so much. He's given a couple of news breaks, and he's given us that clear perspective into that growing brand and team that Delhi Capitals is. Mustafa, all the very best for this edition of the Indian Premier League. And unfortunate as it is for Shreyas Iyer to miss out, there's a lot of talent in that side with Rishabh Pant leading a fine bunch of men into the 14th edition of the Indian Premier League. Thank you so much for all your updates, Boria, as usual. Candid, clear questions and your views. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining this segment on Sports Today. Do download the Fan Fight app and please subscribe to Sports Today. You just saw what all we get you on Sports Today. There'll be exclusive interviews, analysis, stars, pre-match, post-match shows, fantasy tips. There's the works on Sports Today. Do watch this channel regularly right through this edition of the Indian Premier League. Have a very good week.